Today we continue the story called The Marriage with the Notoriously Rich Boss. The previous part is in the description. Please subscribe and like, it helps a lot. The guy said that he will reserve time for 6 shows for her and asked if that's enough for her to do her makeup. And if that's not enough, then he can reserve time for 10 shows in case she's late. But the main character said that she can sing and through 4 shows. By the way, what she is going to sing is You Are My First Sunshine. And this song was written for Junjin a long time ago, and now it's time to use it. Meanwhile, Chijue Chen had already finished singing her song and looked around the hall. She asked the other visitors if that unknown person had already run away. Xia Yanyan, being behind Chijue Chen, realized that this girl is very domineering and she does not like to be modest at all. However, Yi Wujian once again asked your friend to calm down, since now they can only hope for Xinguang. However, Xia Yanyan did not understand why her friend is so hopeful for the main character, since according to her, Xia Yanyan does not have any skills, and most likely she now just run away in fear. Yi Wujian was outraged by what she heard, and said that the main character is not really such a person. However, Xia Yanyan did not stop all sorts of discrediting her. They say that she has known her for a long time, because when she came to her house for Junjin, she realized that Xinguang is brainless. At that moment, the girl assumed that although Xinguang did not have any talents and she did not run away from here, it means that she wants to use Chijue Chen in order to prevent Xia Yanyan from entering the stage. Suddenly, the main character appeared on the stage, preparing to play the piano. Yi Wujian smiled and told Xia Yanyan that she didn't have to worry because she knew that Xinguang hadn't run away. After that, the main character, with her small fingers gently touching the piano, began to play a song called You Are My First Sunshine. Xinguang then finished playing her song and slowly bowed to the audience. At the same time, Xia Yanyan, holding a glass of wine, approached Chijue Chen, trying to convince her that the #1 singing voice is from country A, to which the girl admitted this fact, that in fact it was not her voice, since her voice is so much worse than that of an unknown girl, besides that even she can't match her voice. Chijue Chen doesn't understand how Xia Yanyan can call himself the #1 singer in the world. Smirking, Chijue Chen added that even Xia Yanyan could lose his title because of that unknown girl with a beautiful voice called Xinguang. Hearing this, Xia Yanyan turned around with a sinister look and realized that she needed to come up with something in order to get rid of the main character. Meanwhile, the main character was on the balcony where, looking at the night sky, I don't understand why. Every time she sings this song, she does not feel relieved. Suddenly, Shi Yin Chun appeared behind the girl, which surprised Xinguang a little, so she didn't understand what he could do here. The guy was very surprised by the girl's talent. She didn't even know that she could sing so well. Approaching his ex-girlfriend, he did not understand why she was crying. But Xinguang did not like it at all, and she asked him not to touch her. She was also the reason why he was here. Shi Yin-chun replied that he was allowed into the office of the presidential palace, and he was also very interested in whether Xinguang still hates him. When he saw that the girl was leaving, he abruptly grabbed her hand and declared that he and Ying Ying were getting a divorce, and asked if they could start over. However, the main character was able to break out of his lesson and angrily asked him why he always despised her for being weak, since he said that Ying Ying is not like her, and now he speaks as if she and Ying Ying are equal. Suddenly, Shi Yin-chun abruptly hugged Xinguang. Feeling embarrassed, he admitted that it was his mistake. And if she wants to, she can hate him and even hit him. In addition, he allows her to take out her anger on him, since he can no longer lie himself yourself. The last time he was at the gate of the TV station, and when he saw the main character leave her job and get into the car, he realized that he could not let her leave. He also admitted that he was very young then and made a lot of different mistakes, so he asked Xinguang for a second chance. Upon hearing this, the main character was in complete shock and immediately gave him a strong slap in the face, yelling at him to get out of here as quickly as possible. After that, the girl said that now she owes him nothing, so he should not try to harass her. Then Xinguang quietly left the guy to think about his actions. Meanwhile, Junjin was calmly in his mansion, where he had just got out of the shower. Suddenly, Fu Zuo abruptly entered the room, saying that Junjin is worth seeing. He gave the guy a phone with a photo of Xing Guang hugging Shi Yin Chun. Junjin was very surprised by this photo, and he asked where he got this from. Why Fu Zuo this photo was taken by the backstage staff of Xing Guang. It was also posted on Weibo. The staff immediately recognized the main character and decided to take a picture of her. Looking at the number of views on this photo, Junjin was a little surprised and said that it really went viral, and the VIP big character is pushing, and this is who is going to plot against her. Junjin asked Fu Zuo to look into this photo and make sure that the marriage department doesn't see it. Suddenly, Xiao Yun came into the room and immediately gave his boss the phone, deciding to show one video that was filmed by his former associate, who now works as a security guard at the presidential palace. After watching the video, Junjin was very surprised, because there he heard his wife singing a beautiful song about love, and he suggested this song might be the one she wrote for him. Looking at Xiao Yun and blushing, Junjin asked the name of this song. She said that the guy answered that the name of this song is "You Are My First Sunshine." Hearing this, Junjin began to smile, and covering his mouth with his hand, he asked Xiao Yun to leave and send him this video. Smiling and looking at how his wife sings a song about him, he felt very pleased because he recently wrote a song for her, and now she decided to answer him with another song. He immediately decided to dial Xing Guang in order to talk to her with the idea that she will always have a place in her heart for him. In addition, it turns out that Junjin is her first sunshine. But instead of hearing the pleasant voice of his wife, he heard that the user he is currently calling is busy. 5 minutes later, he decided to call Xing Guang again, but heard the same thing. And even after 10 minutes, Xing Guang still didn't answer him, which made him very angry. They don't understand why she doesn't answer him. Meanwhile, the main character was talking to someone on the phone, and with bewilderment, told her interlocutor that she did not understand who managed to take those photos with her. As it turned out, she was talking to Han Cheng-bei, and because of this, she missed 7 calls from Junjin. In addition to this, the girl was very worried about those photos and asked the guy to help her get rid of them. Han Cheng-bei asked the main character not to worry Xing Guang, as he would do his best to find out who took these photos. Suddenly looked. In the corner of the room, she saw a camera that pointed directly in her direction. She immediately got up and ran in some direction, hearing Han Cheng-bei say something really could be done by the security cameras that are in the presidential palace, and she should check it. Being in a room with security guards who were watching the security cameras, she decided that they would first prove their innocence, and then call Junjin back. In addition to this, Ting Nan was in this room with her, who, approaching one of the guards, asked what was happening, to which the guy, very worried and sweating, said that the monitor could be broken. However, Xing Guang grinningly said that she was not blind, and most likely they simply deleted all the video files with her. Suddenly, Ting Nan, loudly hitting the table with her hands, said that in this case, she would interrogate everyone, and if she did not find out the reason, she would fire everyone, which greatly frightened all the guards. At that moment, one of the guys said that Miss Jia came to their room to find Su Da, but the girl was completely at a loss and did not understand who Su Da was at all. After that, the guard pointed with his head at his colleague with yellow hair and glasses who was busy with something. Xing Guang, approaching him, asked which Miss Xia was looking for him and why she needed him so much, to which the guy, adjusting his glasses, replied that Miss Xia had lost her earrings and could not find them, so she asked him to check the monitoring for her. Looking at Ting Nan, Xing Guang said that she finally understood who took her picture then, and as she assumed it was Xia Yanyan. She explained that they used to not get along and she can't think of anyone else who wanted to hurt her so much. She also asked her friend to stay here and interrogate this guard while she goes and finds Xia Yanyan. Going downstairs, and the main character immediately began to look in all directions in order to find Xia Yanyan. Suddenly, Yi Wujian came up behind her, who was at a loss, and did not understand why Xing Guang was behaving so strangely and trying to find someone. The main character, turning around and smiling, asked if Yi Wujian had not accidentally seen Xia Yanyan, to which the girl replied that Xia Yanyan had just left here saying that she had urgent business. Pointing her finger at the main character, Ting Nan said her phone won't stop ringing. As it turned out, All this time I called her Junjin, who couldn't calm down and wanted to know why his little mermaid didn't answer his calls for so long. Holding her head and exhaling, Xingguang understood that after so many phone calls, Junjin would have a lot of questions, so she decided that she would not answer his calls, and that he should wait a little while. She decided all her affairs. Meanwhile, Junjin was still in his room wearing a robe, holding the holder in his hand. He did not understand why his little mermaid, after so much time, still. No. She answered not a single call, so he suggested that she might be in trouble. At the same time, Xingguang walked towards Xia Yanyan's house, but she was immediately met by guards who tried to stop her, but they couldn't do it. One of the guards realized that they couldn't stop the main character in any way, so they need to hurry up to find the master and bring rescuers as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Xia Yanyan was in her huge pool, where she calmly swam in the form of a mermaid, holding a glass of cocktail in her hands. She tried to learn to sing even better. Suddenly, Xingguang appeared next to the pool, who began to look at the girl with an ominous look, which greatly frightened the mermaid, and she flinched. Xia Yanyan didn't understand why Xingguang was right at her house, to which the main character with a serious face asked why Xia Yanyan always provokes her, and if she can live at least one day without somehow discrediting her. Xia Yanyan, turning around and straightening her hair, stated that she did not understand what Xingguang was talking about, to which the main character was furious. Why did she decide to take a picture of her and her ex-boyfriend and spread this photo around? She also added that even if Xia Yanyan is a national treasure, it doesn't mean that she can't beat her and chop her into fish sauce. Suddenly, her father began to approach from behind Xingguang, who was unhappy that the main character invaded their territory without permission. In addition, she says that she can turn his daughter into fish sauce. Even though Xingguang seems fragile and a little girl, she was already ready to fight. Suddenly, their conversation was interrupted by Xia Zhaoye, who immediately ran out to them and did not understand what was happening here at all. Upon seeing her brother, the protagonist couldn't hold back her tears. She immediately started pointing her finger at Xia Yanyan, asking her brother to ask her what's going on. Xia Yanyan grinningly said that she had nothing to do with it at all, and in fact it was all Xingguang who violently broke into her house and started talking nonsense. In addition, Xia Yanyan remembers how her brother last time told her that the main character is the savior of his little sister, so they must have been very grateful to her. However, Xingguang abruptly took out her phone and showed a photo of her hugging her ex-boyfriend. She stated that her family is so grateful to her that they deliberately took a photo with her while she was hugging her ex-boyfriend and sent these photos to all major media. In addition, the main character asked if Xia Yanyan would continue to slander her for the fact that Junjin loves her. Moreover, even if all the recordings from the security camera were deleted, Xingguang easily understood that all this was Xia Yanyan's tricks. Xia Yanyan pretended that she still did not understand what was being said and asked not to slander her. However, the main character said that she would send a video of how her family are torturing her blood relatives if Xia Yanyan tried to harm her in every way again. Suddenly, someone started calling her phone again, as expected. It was her husband who did not stop calling her. She nevertheless decided to answer him, and screaming asked him not to call her anymore, since she will explain everything to him as soon as everything is sorted out, so he needs to give her some time. Looking into her brother's eyes, Xingguang realized that he no longer recognizes her, but she still doesn't bother, hoping that he will protect her like he did when she was a child. Suddenly, Xia Zhaoye asked the main character not to panic, as he would now ask Xia Yanyan about everything that happened. Approaching his sister, he asked with a displeased face if she really took those photographs, to which the girl confidently replied that she did not. In addition, the mermaid does not understand how her brother can trust outsiders, rather than in his sister. At that moment, Xia Zhaoye decided to ask Xia Yanyan again if it had something to do with her. If she says, and no, he will immediately apologize to Xingguang instead of her. But if she admits her mistakes, he will not forgive her so easily. The mermaid, feeling very nervous, began to wag her fin, saying that she had done nothing. After seeing this, Xia Zhaoye said that there may have been a slight misunderstanding. He also added that even if she is slightly arrogant, she is not a sinister person. Xingguang, pointing her finger at Xia Yanyan, was sure that she actually did it, because she checked all the security cameras and noticed that the footage was deleted. Besides, only she was to the monitoring room, and most likely she asked someone to delete these videos. At the same time, Xia Yanyan was crying to her brother not to believe Xingguang because she had lost her earring, and so she asked the staff to help her find the lost item. And if Xia Zhaoye did not believe her, he could ask the staff in the monitoring room. Xia Zhaoye, turning away from the main character, said that he could not help because she had no evidence. At that moment, the girl realized that even her own brother thinks that she tried to slander Xia Yanyan. Suddenly, Xingguang's father interrupted their conversation by touching his son's shoulder. He asked him not to believe a single word of this girl as she thinks that his sister is narrow-minded. He also added that even though his daughter may not be the nicest person like her alone on Million. After that, he looked at his daughter and asked her to calm down, as he would do everything possible so that no one would slander her. At that moment, Xingguang remembered that Xia Yanyan is the eldest brother's younger sister, and her older brother can't believe her without proof. Crying, the main character thought that she should never rely on anyone, and only on herself. After that, she abruptly began to run in some direction. Turning around, she said that if no one believes her, then tomorrow morning, they should expect the police at home to investigate the case of the murder of Xia Chongqiang by her blood relatives. Hearing this, the father was simply and ordered all his guards to stop her and not let her escape. At that moment, all the guards instantly headed towards the girl. Surrounding her, they did not even know what to do with her. But Xingguang took away that even if they caught her, she was prepared for such an outcome of events. As it turned out, she already arranged everything, and if she does not leave Zia's house within half an hour, then someone will send that video to the police, so they need to let go, since time is already running out. Being in complete shock and fear at the same time, the father approached the girl and asked what she wanted, to which the main character made a demand that she needs all the original photos and find out who they were sent to. Besides, if Xia Yanyan does not tell the truth today, they will die together. The father started yelling at his daughter, ordering her to hand over all the photos she took. However, Xia Yanyan said that she had nothing. Leaving the pool, she showed the gallery of her phone to her father so that he would be convinced of her words. Having looked at all the photos, the father found nothing suspicious. However, Xingguang grinningly said something obviously, since the mermaid most likely deleted all the evidence. Besides, why did she then go to the monitoring room, and there was no monitoring during that time? But at that moment, Xia Yanyan hugged her brother and sneezed, and said that they were just trying to pour dirty water on her. Also, Xia Zhaoye, hugging his sister, asked her to go and change her clothes as it was getting cold. He also promised her that he would not let anyone her slander. However, the main character immediately stopped her by standing in front of her, and stating that she would not go anywhere until she heard an explanation. Xia Zhaoye was already starting to get a little angry, and said that his sister's body is getting weaker, and if she doesn't change then she may catch cold. So he explained that he understands Xingguang's feelings, but she should also understand the others. At that moment, the main character was dissatisfied with the fact that Xia Zhaoye cares more about his sister not getting cold than the rumors that spread around the world because of those photos. However, the guy said that he would definitely investigate this case. Besides this, he understands her mood, but she should be much more rational. In addition, he will tolerate her behavior right now just because she once saved the life of his little sister. After that, he thanked Xingguang for saving his little sister, but she can't use it to harm his family. Leaving, he said that while he was here, he would not allow anyone to offend his little sister. At that moment, Xingguang was unable to hold back her tears due to the fact that she is also his little sister, who is now being bullied, and inadvertently said out loud, "Elder brother." After hearing these words, Xia Zhaoye was in complete shock and decided to ask what she was about, but the main character ran away in tears. Xia Yanyan smirkingly asked her brother to leave the main character alone and take her to her room, since it is still very cold. Suddenly, Mermaid started pretending that she was very ill, and as if she was losing consciousness, which greatly frightened Xia Zhaoye. He, carrying her in his arms, shouted to the butler to call the doctor as soon as possible. Meanwhile, the main character was behind the fence all this time and watched with sadness with all this. She still could not calm down from all today's events. At the same time, Junjin is at home where he still can't stop thinking about his wife, waiting for her call. Suddenly, Xiao Yun approached him, who said that they were finally able to find out the whereabouts of Xinguang, and she is at Xia's house. Junjin was very curious about how she even got there, to which Xiao Yun replied that the driver said that she suspected that those ambiguous photos were taken in secret by Xia Yanyan. So Xinguang went to her house to settle accounts with her. He did not understand why she decided to go there alone, since most likely she could be offended there. Then he ordered to immediately prepare a round-trip flight. While changing clothes, he called Mo Fei, telling him to bring more people to Xia's house. In order to protect the main character, he also said that he should follow her no matter how crazy she is in the Xia family. If someone offends her, then Mo Fei don't have to be polite to them. After that, Junjin immediately called Tang Zhou, saying that there are so many photos in the media with his wife and her ex-boyfriend, he needs to go and clear all these photos. Dressed in a black, elegant suit, Junjin was already in his luxury car where he talked to Mo Fei, who said that they were late. According to the guard of Xia's house, the girl ran away from that house crying. Tightly clenching his fist, Junjin asked where she could be now, to which Mo Fei replied that he contacted his sister-in-law. And according to her, Xinguang fled to the presidential palace. Mo Fei asked her if she needed any help, to which the girl replied no, as the president would help her, which greatly surprised the guy, as he realized that Yan Bei was again interfering in his affairs. Suddenly, he got a call from Tang Zhou, who said that he did everything he could, even if he did nothing. Those photos would still be deleted by Han Cheng-bei. The guy also added that after that, he went to Ye Li to see if there was anything missing. And it turned out that Ye Li had been taken away by someone who belonged to the president, which annoyed Junjin even more, who knows that as before, if something does not go according to plan, go meet Yan Bei. He also remembered how the president recommended Junjin to go and get a divorce like this. How will it be better for both? Meanwhile, Xinguang was in front of the presidential palace along with Han Cheng-bei, who was completely at a loss to understand what they were doing here last night. He also doubted that they would be able to enter this palace right now, to which the girl replied that he should not worry, which surprised the guy a little, and he suggested that she sold regret medicine to the president. However, Xinguang replied that she is related to the president since he is her cousin, and of course she will be able to go inside. After hearing this, Han Cheng-bei was completely shocked and did not even know that Xinguang had such relatives. Suddenly, one Ting Nan's guard came out of the palace, to which the main character immediately went asking what Su Da said. However, the man replied that Su Da was very direct and did not say anything. However, the technical team will soon be able to recover all the lost videos. Suddenly, some guy with glasses screamed, saying that he was finally able to restore everything. Hearing this, Xinguang immediately ran to the side, eager to see what he could recover. They started looking at the footage where Xinguang was talking to her ex-boyfriend on the street. Just at that moment, Xinguang slapped Shi Yinchun hard. Seeing this, Han Cheng-bei was very proud of the main character, as this slap was beautiful, and put the ex-boyfriend in his place. Suddenly, the main character noticed something strange and asked the guard to zoom in on the video. In that fragment of the video, she saw Xia Yanyan, who, oddly enough, had been hiding behind a piece all this time and discreetly photographed Xinguang. At that moment, she screamed loudly, stating that she knew it was her, while Han Cheng-bei was yawning heavily, telling her to copy this video and show it to her husband as he was very sleepy. Leaving the guy remembered that he doesn't even know who Xinguang's husband is, as she is very nervous when he calls. But the girl replied that she was nervous, but just was anxious to get the truth out. In addition, look at the time. She noticed that it was already 4 o'clock in the morning, and most likely Junjin was already sleeping at that time. Leaning against his sports bike, Han Cheng-bei wanted to help the girl and asked where to take her. Also, if she tells him where her house is, then he will quickly and help. Suddenly, some black car approached the heroes, and because of the strong headlights of view, Han Cheng-bei went blind. Pointing a finger at the car, he said that he had not yet avenged the last time. The guy was already going to go deal with the husband of the main character. But Xing Guang tried her best to stop him, asking him to get on a motorcycle and leave. However, Han Chengbei didn't like it, as he is not afraid of Junjin. Besides, the last time he slapped Han Chengbei, he was not ready at all. Meanwhile, Junjin got out of the car and was very surprised to see his wife holding Han Chengbei, with whom he does not have the most pleasant relationship. At that moment, Han Chengbei immediately lashed out at Junjin, saying that he also wants to do something with him because Junjin attacked his beautiful face last time. However, Han Chengbei noticed that Junjin was not looking at him at all, which surprised him a little, and Han Chengbei asked if he was looking at his woman. Junjin was a little surprised by what he heard and asked if this is really his woman. He also asked him to ask her and see if she agrees with his words. At that moment, Han Chengbei pointed the finger and asked Junjin to do the same and find out if it was his woman. Junjin also looked with a stern look at his wife, who seemed to be hiding behind Han Chengbei. But she could no longer endure that look and went to her husband, which surprised Han Chengbei a little, who did not understand why she was going to him, and this embarrassed him. However, Xing Guang turned around and stated that she was indeed Junjin's woman. After hearing this, Han Chengbei was in complete shock and did not understand why the girl had been hiding this information from him all this time, and he asked if she had just been hiding behind the mean Junjin all this time, which surprised the girl a little, and she calmly stated that Junjin did not mean, and her official husband. While in the car, the girl said goodbye to her friend. They say that she is a mermaid girl on social media. Smiling, she thanked him for being so good to her and always ready to help her. Leaving, Han Chengbei was left alone in the night city where he was completely at a loss and did not understand how he could not guess that Junjin is the husband of Xing Guang. While in the car, the main character apologized for the fact that she did not answer his calls, as she did not do it intentionally. At first, she just wanted to deal with all things, and after that call him and tell him everything. However, Junjin, with a thoughtful face, did not want to believe her words so easily. Looking his wife straight in the eyes, he asked if she thinks that if he calls her all the time, that means he doesn't trust her. And he asked if Xing Guang really thinks that in her heart he is a fool who is easy to provoke. Hearing this, Xing Guang was a little surprised and asked why he was so angry now. But the guy decided to remain silent and simply asked his driver to drive towards Jia's house. Xing Guang was a little at a loss and did not understand why they need to go there, since she assumes that they are all already asleep. But Junjin, with a gloomy face, understood why they should sleep now because he didn't sleep all night, and even she didn't sleep. So according to him, criminals shouldn't sleep either. While at the house, the father of this family was in complete shock, did not understand why Junjin came here with his guys in the middle of the night to make a fuss. Putting a cup of tea on the table, Junjin asked Jia Zhaoye with a smirk what he did with Xing Guang that she ran away from this house crying. Also, the guy understood that the only one who can make his little mermaid cry is Xia Zhaoye. At that moment, Xia Zhaoye worriedly recalled all the moments when he talked with Xing Guang, and then he finally understood why when he first saw that he felt familiar, and most likely she must be Qiang. Then the guy asked why only he was here, not understanding where Xing Guang, to which Junjin asked with a smirk if they want her to come here to make her cry again. Xia Zhaoye started to make excuses, saying that he didn't really do anything wrong. Explained that at that moment, Miss Ye thought that the person who quietly photographed her was Xia Yanyan. However, his sister was just finishing swimming at that moment. So he asked Xing Guang not interfere with him as his sister might freeze. Hearing this, Junjin stated that Xing Guang was bullied by Xia Yanyan, and Xia Zhaoye not only defended his sister, but also asked the main character to calm down. At that moment, Xia Yanyan loudly stated that Xing Guang should be calm and not blame others for what they did not. Mermaid also added that the main character did something shameless and came to their house to make a fuss without proof. However, her brother, who listened all this, asked his sister to speak less. Pretending to cry, Xia Yanyan looked at her brother and asked why she couldn't be offended by being slandered. At the same time, Junjin snapped his fingers and asked Xiao Yun to show them evidence. At that moment, the guy showed the mermaid a phone about which there was a video recording of how Xia Yanyan quietly photographed the main character. which greatly surprised the girl, and she did not understand where they came from. After seeing this video, Xia Zhao Ye did not understand why his sister needed this, to which the mermaid replied that she just wanted to get rid of Xing Guang, since she interferes with her a lot and even wants to step on her and show her talent. Xia Zhao Ye is worried, stated that Xia Yanyan is really very spoiled, and her parents probably spoiled her a lot as a child. He also said that right now she will go with him to apologize to Miss Ye. However, Junjin said in a calm voice that there is no need for an apology, since his woman does not need it. And if they want to sincerely apologize, then let them give her 10% of the shares of the Xia group as compensation for moral damage. Upon hearing this, the father called the guy a robber, since 10% of the shares is an incredible amount. In addition, Xia Yanyan called the guy insane, since even she only has 20% of Xia's shares, and she doesn't understand why give Xing Guang 10% for such a trivial matter. At that moment, Junjin stood up and looked at the mermaid with a straight face and asked if slandering his woman was really a trivial matter for her. After that, Junjin switched to a father from whom he has not yet heard an explanation for hiring someone to kill his wife. In addition, he constantly mocks her without incurring any consequences. Meanwhile, Xiao Yun put some document on the table saying that if they don't sign this share transfer agreement, their families will be enemies from now on. In addition, the Ye group will use all its resources to seek justice for the president's wife. Even if they fight to the death and the net breaks, both sides will suffer greatly. And if they don't bring the Xia family to bankruptcy, Master Jin won't stop either. Suddenly, Xia Zhao Ye asked Junjin if he could meet Miss Ye, to which the guy replied that it was impossible since he would not give them another chance to do no harm. He also asked the guy if he would sign it or not. All of a sudden, the father said that if his son signed all relations with him, however, Xia Zhao Ye said that they cannot be enemies with the Ye family. In addition, Xing Guang saved the life of his little sister, and he is going to give his 10% of his share to her. However, Junjin said that he is wrong because he does not want to share it. What he wants is half of 20% in Xia Yanyan's hand. So he needs to be very careful before signing this agreement, since Junjin does not want to deceive him. Suddenly, Xia Yanyan wrested the agreement from her brother's hands. Yes, I want to see if they really take her 10% of shares. She also stated that her grandfather left her, that's the share, and she does not agree with this agreement at all. However, her brother abruptly approached her and took the agreement, meaning that the grandfather also said that if his little sister was going to donate bone marrow to Yan Yan, he would give the little sister 10% of shares as compensation. However, after his little sister passed away, Xia Yanyan kept all the shares, and now Junjin insists on transferring all the shares belonging to Qiong to Miss Ye. And this means that Xing Guang is Qiong. After that, Xia Zhao Ye asked Junjin if he would let him meet the main character after he signed this contract, while his little sister tried her best to prevent his brother from signing this contract. However, the guards were quickly able to grab the girl and prevent her from interfering with this, Xia Yanyan. I was in complete shock and trying to escape, crying. I didn't understand why they were doing this to her now, and on what basis they treat the main character like that. To which Junjin replied that on the basis of the fact that she is his wife, and she was treated very meanly. Meanwhile, the main character is in the back seat of the car, waiting for her husband on the street. When Junjin nevertheless got into the car, she asked him where he disappeared, and why he didn't return for so long. In addition, she clearly hears Xia Yanyan, why she screams like that. After that, Xing Guang asked if he was not offended by the fact that she communicates with Han Cheng-bei, since he just helps her and nothing more. However, the guy gently touching her face passionately kissed her, which greatly shocked the girl. After the kiss, hugging her, he asked how many times he called her, and she did not answer. However, the main character was in a state of shock, and all reddened covered her mouth with her hands. She was about to say something, however. Her husband interrupted her, asking her to forget about it, as there was no need to say it. He understood that she would now clearly tell him something that you would express, and after that say that he did not believe her. Hugging my husband, the main character said that she was afraid to talk to him because he would be angry, so she first wanted to find evidence of her innocence. However, Junjin did not understand why he would be angry. And at that moment, he immediately took out an agreement saying that it was for her. Seeing that 10% of Xia's shares, now her Xingguang was in total shock. Besides, her husband added that her mental damage fee will be given to her by Xia Zhaoye. She was very surprised that her husband ran to Xia's and asked them to cut off their own thighs in order to compensate her. To which the guy replied that it originally belonged to Xia Chongqiang's shares, however. It fell into the hands of Xia Yanyan's. Due to the fact that she allowed herself to offend the main character, she was obliged to compensate for moral damage. At that moment, the main character raised that this is her share, which her grandfather always said that when she does bone marrow to Xia Yanyan, 10% of the share. Looking at her husband, she did not even know that her share was in the hands of her sinister sister. However, fortunately, Junjin helped her snatch her share back. She couldn't take her eyes off her husband as they were really very handsome and she admired his beauty. Gently touching his hand, Xingguang did not even know that her husband was ready to do so much for her. At that moment, Junjin coughingly asked her to stay as far away from Yanbei and his wife as possible, which surprised the main character a little, and she suggested that Junjin's brother is not in the most pleasant relationship with the president, to which her husband said that if she has nothing to talk about with the president, then let her not speak, and speak only on business as she will the best. Besides that, he advised her in the future, if she notices something she can't handle, she needs to call him as soon as possible, which surprised Xingguang a little, and she didn't understand why he was so jealous of the president and his wife. After hearing this, Junjin was surprised a lot, and asked what she was mumbling about, to which the main character already said that she could not get through to him because he is always very busy, and most likely he will not have much time for her. Junjin explained that he's not really busy, however, despite being busy, and need to call him as soon as possible if she runs into something, and she needs to keep it. You are her heart. Also, he advised his wife to go and write this sentence 100 times. After a while, when they were already in the mansion, Junjin gave his wife a notebook. Ask her to really write this 100 times, because the doctors, otherwise the family will serve her. Leaving the girl alone in the room, he left. She also did not understand why she needed to write this, and I think that this is all nonsense. Looking at the notebook, she realized that her husband turned her into an elementary school student who was forced to write and was fined. After a while, the main character was in her bed where she corresponded with her husband, who was very interested if she finished her work. Suddenly, Junjin noticed that Xingguang wrote that she wants to try his fried steak, so she is very hungry. Meanwhile, the main character was very worried. She realized that she could no longer control herself, and she just wants to see how her husband spoils her. She noticed that he wrote that if she is hungry and wants to eat, then first she needs to want her job, and then he will cook a steak for him. Xingguang, of course, understood that this was the real Junjin who was not ready to pamper her so easily, and she began to finish her work. Going down to the first floor, she will notice as her husband takes out a frozen steak from the refrigerator, and she immediately realized that he was preparing food for her. Sitting on the floor, she could not look at it because she really liked it, and she blushed all over. Nevertheless, she took it in her hand and decided to go out in order to eat a steak cooked by her husband, who asked if she had finished her work. After the girl answered positively, he immediately gave her a small gift and turned around so that she would not see his reddened face. Looking at his wife, Xingguang understood that no matter what gift he gave me, she always throw it aside. If he does not want to be sad, he better find a reason to leave. Without hesitation, he told Xingguang that he was going to run on the treadmill, leaving her alone in the kitchen to eat and have a delicious steak. Opening the gift, the main character saw beautiful purple earrings in the shape of a flower. Her happiness knew no bounds, and she did not even know that Junjin loves her so much and knows that she likes earrings. Suddenly, she had some idea, and she immediately ran to her wardrobe. From there, she found a beautiful purple dress, and wearing it along with earrings, she decided to take a selfie, as it is a beautiful combination of colors. Then she immediately posted this photo on Weibo, with comments that she really likes it. Looking at her phone, she realized that Junjin always wanted Xingguang to post on social networks, and now this is the perfect moment for this. In addition, she does not know how he can react to this selfie. Suddenly, Xingguang received a notification saying that she was violating Weibo rules, and because of this, she could not post her selfie. The main character was furious and did not understand how one selfie could violate the rules of this platform. Meanwhile, Junjin was already in the hospital along with his friends. He asked Tang Zhou and was able to lie and blocked all photos with his wife, to which the guy replied that he did not even know how hard his employees work. Hearing this, Junjin was a little upset because he realized that Tang Zhou seemed to be specifically blocking his path to love, since the main character has not posted any selfies on social networks for over a year, and it was very difficult for him to convince her to do this. After that, he asked his friend when she managed to post a new photo, to which he replied that it was this morning, but fortunately they managed to quickly find everything and ask Weibo to deal with it in a timely manner. Tang Zhou explained that from the first day Xingguang came to their house, Junjin asked him to follow her on social media. In addition, he would do so in order not to reveal her identity, and he simply followed his instructions. After that, Junjin looked at Mo Fei and smiled, told him that Junjin should praise him for this. At that moment stated that Tang Zhou liked to gossip the most, so he told him that he had a little secret, namely that he likes Xingguang by asking what he thinks about it. Hearing this, the guys were in complete shock and did not even know how to react to it. Tang Zhou asked in surprise if Junjin was sure about this, since Xia Yanyan liked him. Shi Ting was also very surprised by this, and asked if he wasn't really sure of his decision, since they didn't know each other that well. To which Junjin replied that there are people who cannot get along with each other all their lives, while there are other people who can fall in love with each other with just one look, and this is not measured by time. Tang Zhou asked with a surprised face what would happen to Xia Yanyan then, since Junjin is involved in MERMAID peripherals and even builds a mermaid amusement park, to which Junjin, leaving, replied that he really did not like Xia Yanyan at all. As he left, he said that if he does something mermaid-related, it's not because of Xia Yanyan, so they need to do some wild guessing, since his only woman is Xingguang. He understood that the little mermaid was going to take and not shine him and send photos, which is an acknowledgement of their relationship. Running through the corridors of the hospital, he understood that he should treat his wife very well and do everything possible to make her feel comfortable, since the picture in case she would think that he did not want her to publish her selfies. Going into his mansion, he expected to see his wife, but instead he saw a guy who said that when the main character ordered the call, she kept all her things in a panic and left, which surprised Junjin a little. He didn't understand what happened to her. Suddenly looking at the phone, he realized that Tanabata Festival would be coming soon. He asked the guy when this festival will be, to which he replied that something will happen in 2 days. If Junjin remembers correctly, then her foster father passed away on the day of Tanabata Festival this year. At that moment, together with Tang Zhou, he wanted to make a surprise for the main character, namely to confess his love. Tang Zhou was very surprised by his boss's decision and asked why he was doing all this, to which he replied that it was all because he wanted to take the initiative and she would separate their relationship. However, Tang Zhou still couldn't believe his boss and didn't understand why he wanted to marry someone the whole family didn't like, and most likely she just gave him some kind of hallucinogenic substance. Junjin thought she wanted to reveal her identity and mermaids. However, he did not even know that his real parents are so shameless that they are just kidnapping her morally. Tang Zhou advised his boss to listen to his parents, but he just listened silently and didn't say anything. Suddenly, someone started calling him, and as it turned out, it was Xiao Yun who said that his wife had disappeared somewhere. At that moment, Tang Zhou told his boss that he should divorce her because most likely she did not love him at all. However, Junjin turned around and said that he could not this lake because he loves her. Leaving, he left Tang Zhou alone, who breathed in and declared that even if he loves her, she cannot help but love him. After a while, the guy was already running through the corridors in the hospital, in the sense that he did not even know that his son-in-law was sick. Suddenly, in front of the doors to some ward, he noticed Xingguang, who was sitting on her knees. Approaching, he saw that she was crying because of the condition of her father, since she could not help him in any way. At that moment, the guy realized that when she needed him the most, he was actually preparing some kind of surprise for her. This time, he will not force her to marry him, as their fates have changed. And even the fate of his son-in-law has also likely changed. Meanwhile, next to the entrance to one of the offices, The foster mother of the main character was sitting on a bench, who was also crying. Xingguang immediately noticed her and hugged her and asked what condition her father was in. Unable to hold back her tears, the girl did not understand why the doctor gave you a notice of critical illness. She told her mom that she would go to Dr. Bao as she got so many sponsors for his research institute. However, her mother stopped her by recommending that she first go and visit her father, as he would be very happy to see them. Going inside the ward, they saw a sick father who was even hard to lie down. When he saw his daughter, the father asked her not to cry since she was already an adult, and he had not yet died. However, Xingguang, touching his father, said that she did not cry and promised that he would not die and live a long life. Suddenly, the father asked where that guy from Ye family was. He didn't understand how her husband would leave her to come here in the middle of the night alone. He also asked his daughter to call him and say that he wanted to meet him. The main character didn't say that she was in such a hurry that she didn't even have time to say anything to him. However, he once again asked her to call him right now, but in fact, he wanted to look at this man in order to make sure if his daughter would be in good hands before when he leaves this world. Wiping her tears, Xingguang understood that even when her father is critically ill, the first thing he thinks of is her. Calling her husband, she was afraid that he might not answer because he was very busy, in which case she needs to come up with something in order to deceive her father. However, Junjin still answered and first of all asked if Xingguang was in the hospital, which surprised the girl a little, and she does not know how he knows this. With sadness and tears, she asked him if he could come to the hospital as her father wanted to meet him. She also added that she even misses him a little now. Suddenly, Junjin suddenly opened the door to the ward, which made the girl very happy. Hugging my wife, he said that he brought with him several nephrology experts from Imperial Capital, and now they will conduct an interview in which they will discuss treatment methods, so there is no need to worry. Touching her cheek, he asked her not to thank her, as it was his duty. Meanwhile, the father, looking at all this, understood that he did not have any worry about his daughter, and he could leave this world with peace of mind. After some time, the experts said that unfortunately, in this situation they are powerless, and the father can live only 2-3 days. Hearing this, Xingguang was completely shocked and nearly fainted. However, her husband was able to catch her. He also asked if they really can't do anything since they are the best doctors in the world. However, the experts apologized and said that at the moment there is no such cure. Xingguang's father has raised her for many years, and she haven't been filial to him yet. After parting from Qinjunye, she passed out at sea, but luckily her adoptive parents found her. Even if she was not their own child for them, they still took care of her and tried to help her in every possible way. They gave her parental love that she never experienced, and gave her an understanding of what warmth of home is. Her parents discovered her talent and helped her discover it. So they bought her a huge piano, which she learned to play from childhood. They said they don't need to be thanked because as long as she's happy, they can do anything. Screaming at her husband in tears, she asked him to somehow save her father, as she could not just let him go. Junjin couldn't look at his little mermaid crying because it breaks his heart, and he asked her not to cry because her father would be sad when he saw it. Smiling and wiping her tears, the main character and said that she is a mermaid. Usually mermaids have luck, and maybe this time she will be lucky too. After the main character left, Xiao Yun asked his boss if they should start preparing for the funeral. But Junjin said that he had an idea how to cure his father. But this is not a good idea, and you can say something will be the beginning of another torture. After that, he asked Xiao Yun if he wants to live or wants to leave, to which Xiao Yun they replied that he wants to survive, since he still has parents. And even if this is the beginning of another torture, he will choose to live instead of dying. When everyone left his father's room, Junjin decided to quietly go inside in order to talk to him. Approaching him, Junjin said that he could save him, but the price for saving him was torture, which surprised his father a little, and he asked what the price was. Turning away, the guy replied that he would need to suck blood. When he heard this, father was in complete shock and did not even know how to react to it. Junjin explained that he will have an unstoppable desire to suck blood just like a vampire, and it is very difficult to contain, and if he sucks blood, then it can be painful for him. It can save his life there. He also told the father that his daughter does not want to lose him or see how he suffers. However, Junjin stated that he would not force him to become a vampire and would only help him if he asked. Suddenly, the father asked if the guy is actually not a human but a vampire, but Junjin answered that he is a human. When he was still a child, he was so wounded that he was on the verge of death, and in order to survive, he chose this path, although since then, he cannot restrain his desire to suck blood. Suddenly, the main character called her husband. She said that her mother lost consciousness and now she is in the emergency room, so he should visit them. Looking at how his son-in-law is talking on the phone, his father was convinced that there are vampires in this world, and those who were shown in the films were real. However, if his son-in-law, according to him, is not a vampire, then what kind of magical animal is he? He didn't even know if he would be missed after he left this world. Besides, he hadn't lived a long life with his wife Lan Wu yet. They haven't held the hand of Xingguangge yet and take her to the wedding hall. He has not yet had grandchildren, and he really wants to see them. Crying, the man understood that he could not just leave this world. Suddenly, Junjin came into the room, and the man asked why he had not returned for so long. In addition, he noticed that even his wife and daughter had not returned either. He assumed that something had happened to them. At that moment, he remembered how he was in another office where the mother of the main character lost consciousness. At that moment, he didn't even know what he was doing because the tractors wanted them to take Dad home. But he didn't want to give up so easily. He told Father that his wife was too worried. She just passed out because of it, but he has no physical problems. At that moment, the father asked Junjin about how he was able to escape when he was little. The guy replied that at that time the situation was critical. In fact, half of his leg was already at the gates of hell. Hearing this, Father extended his hand, saying that he, Song Chuan, is not afraid of anything in his life. However, in the end, he is still greedy for life and afraid of death. Seeing this, Junjin was a little surprised and asked the man if he was not really confident in his choice, to which Song Chuan confidently said that there was nothing to think about, since he wants to live a long life. After that, he asked Junjin to bite him right now. Then the guy immediately bit Song Chuan and awkwardly asked him not to think that he was a vampire. However, the man instantly began to feel very good, and all the pain disappeared. He asked Junjin how long it would take for him to fully recover, and if he could even live forever, to which the guy replied that it was impossible. The man shook hands, and Song Chuan burned out the guy again for saving his life. Meanwhile, the main character was walking along the corridors of the hospital with her mother. Lan Wu asked her daughter to help and collect all her things and go home. She also asked her in the last days to at least spend everything together. Suddenly, one doctor with green hair, whose name is Bo Jing Yu, was finally able to find the characters, and said that he was just looking for them in order to say that his father's condition. Xing Guang was completely at a loss, and at first did not believe it. Thanks if Bo Jing Yu is lying now, however, the doctor said that he would never lie about such a thing. In addition, all the indicators say that everything is fine with him. Upon hearing this, the main character was overwhelmed with happiness, and she told her mother that they needed to visit their father as soon as possible. Hugging him, they listened to how Bo Jing Yu says that this is some kind of medical miracle, since all the indicators are close to normal. Meanwhile, Junjin was somewhere near some lighthouse where he was locked in a car. He felt just terrible, and tried to suppress his desire to suck blood. For him, the hardest moment is the first hug ceremony, in which he turns another person into a vampire. After a while, he began to feel normal, and the desire to suck blood also disappeared. Suddenly, his wife called him with good news, saying that some miracle happened and her father was cured. She also really wants Junjin to be next to her now because she wants to hug him, and after hearing this, Junjin already imagined it. However, he said that he was now very sleepy, and advised her to find a hotel where she could spend the night. Wishing good night, he ended the conversation and all blushed began to listen to her song, "You Are My First Sunshine." The next day, Junjin went to the hospital where he saw his wife fall asleep right on her father's bed. He told her parents that you will take her to the hotel so that she can rest properly. Lan Wu was happy about this, and advised him to make sure that she sleeps well, since black circles are already appearing such eyes. Carrying his wife in his arms, he began to leave this room, at the same time as his mother's gaze followed them. Hugging my wife, he noticed that she was wearing clothes that he bought for her, and he realized that over time, everything changes since she had never worn anything from him before. At the hotel, he kissed his wife and wished her good night. Getting out of bed and looking out the window, he noticed one banner that said, "Love comes on Tanabata Festival." Seeing this, Junjin was surprised and immediately took out his phone, called Xiao Yun to ask him to buy a bouquet of beautiful roses and send it here. Meanwhile, all of Junjin's employees didn't stop working, even if it was night. Now they were cleaning the internet of false information about him and his brothers, and they had one more hour before the end of work. However, they were so tired that they even fell asleep with their heads on the laptop, and they began to ask the boss to take pity on them and release them at least for the day of the festival so that they could have a normal rest. After 1 hour, all the employees had already left their jobs, and only Tang Zhou remained in the office, who were very surprised that all his friends looked like zombies. But after the working day was over, they turned into the Flash. Suddenly, Xingleng sent her a notification saying that today is Chinese Valentine's Day, and he was very curious why Tang Zhou hasn't returned home yet. So he assumed that Tang Zhou was cheating on him. Tang Zhou was furious and didn't understand why Xingleng was so skeptical about everything. At the same time, the boss sent a message in which he asks to put him on Weibo as a hot search. As it turned out, Junjin posted a photo with his wife who is sleeping peacefully, and next to her is a beautiful bouquet of roses. However, Tang Zhou wasn't happy about it at all, as he was already tired from the whole day. Besides, he was working overtime. All of a sudden, some guy gently approached Tang Zhou from behind, who praised him, saying that he is very efficient if he works overtime. This greatly scared Tang Zhou, who immediately pushed him away and asked him to stop scaring him every time. Xingleng pinned Tang Zhou against the wall and told her not to hide from him. Tang Zhou all reddened that no one was really hiding from him, and she just didn't see the blackout notice, so she didn't quit her job. Xingleng grabbed the girl by the hoodie and told her that she should go home. As it turns out, it was Tang Zhou's husband, with whom she didn't get along very well, and she considers him with the same nemesis for the first time in 20 years. Leng has always been Junjin's rivals, and that us her deadly enemy. Suddenly looking at his wife. Thank you why she looks at him like that, and if she is obsessed with him. 10 years ago, Tang Zhou approached Xingleng with some worms and prepared to scare him with them. However, Xingleng turned around and closed his book and asked if Tang Zhou had fallen in love with him, as she looked at him very strangely. Hearing this, the girl immediately ran away from that place. After a couple more years, she noticed Xingleng who was calmly talking to some girl, and Tang Zhou was hiding behind a bush. I wanted to take it off and report it all to the teacher. However, the guy was able to quickly find her, and approaching her face asked if she was obsessed with him. The girl immediately fell to the ground, father fright. And that's why for the last 10 years this guy has been annoying her so much. After that, she called her husband shameless because he lives and eats in her house, and it turns out that she takes care of him. Therefore, he needs to treat her well. Arriving home, the girl immediately lay down on the bed as she was very tired. Blushing, she asked her husband to cook a steak for her, as she is now very hungry. However, Xingleng replied that she would not, which surprised Tang Zhou a little. She forcibly forced him to cook. They say that why does she need such a man who cannot even cook food? And after a couple of minutes, she was already looking at how the one who once held the greatest power in the Leng family is now preparing food for her. Eating Tang Zhou said that she heard that he was once the head of the Leng family, and she does not understand how he was kicked out of there. Ask if he is not going to return. She also asked him to tell him how much money he needs in order for him to drive those bastards out of Leng's house, so that she can help him. However, Xingleng asked with a grin if she wanted to help him restore justice, or if she suddenly fell in love with him. Listening to this, the girl immediately returned from him, saying that she just wants to help him. That's all. After that, he was still able to cook food for Tang Zhou, which surprised her a little, and she said that he really does have a little talent. Then the guy was about to go to the toilet, but the girl immediately stopped him. She took out her bank card, saying that he should take it and spend it, and he may not save in the future. Otherwise, those who do not know will think that she cannot afford him. Xingleng started laughing when she saw this card. They said that she gave him a card, but without a password, to which the girl with a straight face said that the password was on the back of the card. At that moment, the guy finally made sure that he had the password, and he realized that in fact, this password is his birthday. And then he told Tang Zhou that she really fell in love with him, When Tang Zhou heard this, she began to wave her hands in rage, saying that he mocks her only because she wears men's clothes. But she is a woman, and she should not remind him of this every time. She also explained that she set a password that no one could guess, and she thought her enemy's birthday would be the safest password. Leaving and waving the card, Xing Day said that you would use the money carefully. Meanwhile, Tang Zhou, holding her head, didn't understand why this guy always likes to oppose her. At the same time, the main character, along with her husband, slept peacefully in the hotel. Around her eye, she immediately saw Junjin's chest muscles, which surprised her a lot. Suddenly, he woke up too and immediately passionately kissed his wife, which left Xing Guang shocked. They kissed for so long that they didn't even have enough air, and the main character, in complete shock, understood that now she was trapped right in the morning, from which it would be very difficult to get out. But she even likes it, so she slowly closed her eyes, thinking about her husband. Suddenly, she abruptly pushed him away and ran away, the guy won on the bed. Washing her face, she realized that Junjin used the beauty trap right in the morning. She almost can't cope. Looking in the mirror, she understood that she too must have some price, and she should not succumb to his beauty so easily. After getting dressed, she told Junjin that she would go to the hospital to take care of her father. However, the guy said that his brother-in-law said that he wanted to celebrate his extraction with his wife and did not want anyone to interfere with her, which surprised the girl a little since she does not remember her father saying this. Xing Guang then gave Junjin his phone, which contained a message from her father so that she could verify what he had said. Besides this, the guy said that they need to change their clothes and find a place where they can eat as soon as possible since he is very hungry. And the clothes he wore matched perfectly with the clothes he gave his wife. When you see this, the main character will be very surprised how it was. Couple outfits. I called my husband a flirting monster. Now they were in Tea City, which was famous for its excellent seafood, also the main character. Why not go to different food stalls? However, stopping and smiling, she asked if he would feel comfortable there, as she believes that a noble boss like him only eats Michelin 3-star food. She also added that the taste of this food is not bad at all, but it can be very noisy there. At first, Junjin wanted to refuse, but immediately imagined how his wife would say that they are not a perfect couple, due to the fact that he only eats in restaurants. In addition, he remembered one case where he, along with Tang Zhou, were in some kind of food stall and ate crabs, but this food tasted very bad. Junjin didn't like him so much that he threw up in that middle of the street. Unable to refuse his wife, he smiled and said that he agreed to go with her. Entering one establishment there, and met a nice girl with bunny ears, who told Junjin that he had to scan the QR code in order to get these ears. In addition, he praised the main character, saying that these ears would suit her perfectly. However, Junjin's smile replied that this is not actually his girlfriend, which surprised the main character a little. I don't understand why all of a sudden he said that to Xing Guang. Since they are wearing a couple outfit, they kissed this morning. Besides, they are legally married. I did not understand how he could be so ruthless, shameless, and unreasonable. However, at the same moment, Junjin, smiling and holding the main character by the hand, said that she was his fiancée. Sitting at the table, Junjin immediately took off these ears because he thought they didn't suit him. But Xing Guang kept begging him to put on those ears because they looked just fine on her, which means they should look cute on him too. The guy didn't even have time to say anything, but the ears were already on his head, which made him feel awkward. After that, they began to play nicely with each other and eat. Meanwhile, Jia Yanyan was at her house, where she was just furious that Junjin posted a photo with the main character. She was so angry that she even took apart her phone. Her friend anxiously asked Jia Yanyan to forget about it, and asked if Lu Zhanyuan's younger brother Lu Hansen haven't pursuing her recently. She also added that his brother Master and Jin's brother are now competing for the position of president, and their strength is equal. Shut your mouth. Angry. She said that no one had allowed themselves to rob her before, and the main character not only stole Junjin, her fame, but also 10% of her shares. After your girlfriend said that Junjin and Xing Guang are now spouses, and if she tries to somehow interfere with them, she will entrust the title of a robber, which is not at all worth it. Thinking, Xia Yanyan realized that her friend Ye Li was right, and her perfect image must not be ruined by Xing Guang. Then she decided that before using their privilege they should find evidence that Xingguang is sorry for Junjin. Besides, she still has a silent romantic confession in her hands, with which she can prove that Junjin loves her. While it's announced, netizens will say that he and she are lovers, who should eventually get married. Trying to get out of her house, the girl was immediately met by 2 guards who stopped her. One of the guards said that the young master said that she should sit at home for a couple of days and reflect on herself. When Xia Yanyan heard this, she was shocked. "I don't understand why I need all this." She also asked where her brother is. What did they say about the guards? That as soon as Xia Zhaoye heard that the father of the main character fell ill, he immediately went to the city to visit them. When Xia Yanyan heard this, she was shocked and passed out.